While walking along the beach after a powerful storm, a woman named Clara discovered an enormous tree washed ashore. Its massive roots and sprawling branches were a testament to its age and size. Intrigued by this unusual sight, Clara approached the tree, drawn to its natural beauty and the mystery of its journey to the shore. As she examined the tree more closely, Clara noticed something even more intriguing: a carved message on the trunk. The warning etched into the wood was both cryptic and ominous, prompting her to alert the authorities immediately. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Clara was unsure about what to think about the strange message carved into the tree. It was clear that this had been done very recently. Judging by the fact that the message was upside down, she determined that it had to be done before the giant tree had ended up here. The message itself both scared and confused Clara. Something or multiple people were clearly in trouble, and there was a good chance that would have to do with the storm. Maybe this tree had come from there, but that somehow seemed highly unlikely to Clara. What stood out most about this tree, besides the message carved into it, was that trees this big did not grow anywhere near here. She needed to call the authorities. But she was very much disappointed with their answer, even though she could completely understand it. They, along with all the other emergency services, were far too busy dealing with the aftermath of the storm to worry about a message in an old, washed-up tree. And for a kind-hearted person like Clara, that decision was very easy. She could never forgive herself if she were to just leave this for what it was. And so she started thinking of a plan to approach this very strange and difficult situation. She called her close friends Nicole and Stephen. A couple had their own boat, which Clara really hoped had made it through the storm. Clara had sent them a picture of the cryptic message that was carved into the tree, and they also were not sure what the symbols were meant to represent exactly. They met Clara on the beach, and there they had a look at the tree themselves. The giant tree had now also donned the attention of other people. They did not know where, they did not know exactly with what. All they had was what looked like a bunny scratched into a tree trunk. Seeking wisdom from the virtual community, they posted the image showing the deeply carved words and the puzzling symbol, hoping for insightful interpretations from internet users worldwide. Clara, Nicole, and Stephen meticulously combed through the sea of responses. They encountered a wide range of interpretations, from the probable to the bizarre. Could the rabbit-like carving be a clue pointing to a specific location or event? They pondered over maps and local lore, trying to connect this newfound theory with the storm and the mysterious origins of the tree, delving deeper into the possibilities. A forum user's suggestion struck a chord. The symbol could be related to Rabbit Key Island. This small, often overlooked island had its share of legends and lore. This theory about Rabbit Key Island injected a much-needed spark of hope into their hearts. For Clara, it was a beacon in the midst of uncertainty. With a plan in place, they began their final preparations. Supplies were gathered: food, water, emergency kits, and additional fuel. As the boat cut through the waves, each of them was lost in thought, contemplating the possibilities that lay ahead. What would they find on Rabbit Key Island? Only time would tell. As they neared Rabbit Key Island, its desolate nature became strikingly apparent. The rugged coastline, lined with battered trees and debris from the storm, painted a picture of isolation and abandonment. With cautious precision, they anchored near the island's shore. The sound of the waves gently lapping against the hull accompanied them as they stepped onto the island. Their search began immediately. Clara, Nicole, Steen, and Arit, Stephen, combed through the island, eyes keen for any sign of recent human presence. A makeshift shelter, crudely constructed yet recently used, stood hidden among the trees. Among the remnants of habitation, they found personal belongings that painted a vivid picture of those who had been here. The group gathered to discuss their findings and contemplate their next steps. They debated the implications of what they had uncovered and the responsibility it placed on them. Ultimately, they decided to contact the authorities. Using their satellite phone, they relayed the details of their discoveries, emphasizing the urgency and potential significance of the situation. While waiting, they decided to make one last sweep of the island's perimeter. It was during this search that they stumbled upon a crucial clue: the remnants of a makeshift raft. With no response from the authorities and the discovery of the raft, the trio decided to take matters into their own hands. They strategized their next move with urgency. The plan was to search the surrounding waters, looking for any sign of the raft or its passengers. The sea was vast, and the search proved more challenging than they had anticipated. Clara, Nicole, and Stephen scoured the waters, their eyes straining for any sign of the raft or its passengers. Realizing the enormity of their task, they decided to expand their search area. They charted a course towards other nearby islands, hoping that the raft might have drifted or been steered in that direction. Just as the light of hope seemed to be fading, a faint cry for help pierced the air. Guided by the cries for help, they spotted people clinging to a fragment of a broken raft, bobbing perilously in the water. Clara, Nicole, and Stephen sprang into action, navigating the boat closer to the desperate survivors. Clara, Nicole, and Stephen worked in perfect harmony, ensuring their movements were precise and calculated. They knew that any misstep could exacerbate the already perilous situation, endangering the lives they were desperately trying to save. After tense and painstaking efforts, they successfully brought each person aboard. Immediate care was provided, with Clara, Nicole, and Stephen tending to the survivors' needs. The rescued individuals, though exhausted and shaken, expressed profound gratitude. Their faces, etched with fatigue, lit up with relief. For Clara, Nicole, and Stephen, the feeling of accomplishment was overwhelming. They had embarked on a seemingly impossible mission and had emerged successful, having made a tangible difference in the lives of those they had rescued. As they began to interact with the rescued individuals, Clara, Nicole, and Stephen quickly realized a significant barrier: language. None of the survivors spoke English, complicating their ability to communicate and understand each other. This challenge added another layer of complexity to their rescue mission, but the team was determined to overcome it and provide the necessary assistance. Faced with the language barrier, the team resorted to universal gestures and basic words in an attempt to communicate. They used hand signals, facial expressions, and simple drawings to convey basic messages and ensure the survivors' immediate needs were met. Although rudimentary, these methods bridged the gap temporarily, facilitating essential understanding and connection. With the survivors safe aboard, the group turned the boat back towards the shoreline. As they journeyed back, thoughts turned to the next steps. How could they further assist these individuals? The need for effective communication was paramount. Reaching the shore would be the first step in seeking the help and resources necessary to properly aid the survivors. Upon reaching the shore, the immediate priority was finding a translator. The team quickly sought help from the local community, explaining the urgent situation. Fortunately, they were able to find a Spanish translator willing to assist. With a reliable interpreter now at hand, they prepared to bridge the communication gap and understand the survivors' experiences and needs more deeply. With the translator's assistance, a clearer picture began to emerge. The survivors shared their harrowing experiences, each word translated adding to the understanding of their ordeal. The group listened intently, piecing together the events that had led to their desperate situation at sea. This communication breakthrough was crucial in providing the right support and assistance moving forward. Through the translator, the immigrants recounted their perilous journey. They spoke of leaving their homes in search of a better life, facing dangers at sea, and the constant fear of the unknown. Their eyes, filled with the memory of hardship, reflected a tale of resilience and desperation. The team listened, deeply moved by the raw honesty and bravery of their story. As the immigrants continued, they described how the storm had drastically altered their course. It had been an unforeseen disaster, trapping them on Rabbit Key Island with no means to call for help. Their ordeal was worsened by the storm's ferocity, which left them stranded and helpless, at the mercy of nature's unpredictable wrath. Faced with dwindling supplies and no way to communicate with the outside world, the group made a desperate decision. They carved a message into the tree, hoping it would be their beacon to the world. It was a last resort, a silent cry for help etched into wood. Cast into the uncertainty of the sea and fate, the translator relayed the significance of the bunny symbol. It was a symbol of hope and a reference to Rabbit Key Island, chosen for its recognizability. The survivors had hoped that the unusual symbol would catch someone's attention and lead to their rescue. It was a creative yet desperate measure to convey their location and plight. With the story and the symbol's meaning now clear, Clara, Nicole, and Stephen fully grasped the context and importance of their discovery. The message wasn't just a random carving, it was a lifeline thrown by people in dire need. The realization of what they had stumbled upon and their role in the rescue was both humbling and profound. The immigrants shared more about their experiences and the compelling reasons behind their journey. They spoke of leaving behind difficult conditions, risking everything for the hope of a safer, better life. Each story was a testament to human resilience and the universal pursuit of hope and security. The team listened, profoundly moved by the depth of the struggle these individuals had faced. They explained further that the carving in the tree was their only means to reach out for help. It was a desperate measure, born out of necessity and the faint hope that someone might find it. This message, carved by hands driven by fear and hope, had been their silent plea to the world, a call for rescue from their plight on Rabbit Key Island. Reflecting on the events, Clara, Nicole, and Stephen marveled at the fortunate series of events that led to the rescue. From discovering the tree, deciphering the message, to embarking on the search, every step seemed like pieces of a puzzle falling into place. It was a chain of serendipitous moments that culminated in the timely rescue of the stranded immigrants. Soon after the authorities arrived on the scene, ready to take over the care of the immigrants, the team watched as the professionals stepped in, providing the necessary assistance and support. It was a bittersweet moment, knowing that their part in this journey was over, but also a relief that the survivors were now in capable hands. In the aftermath, Clara, Nicole, and Stephen reflected on their extraordinary adventure and the lives they had impacted. They had started as mere bystanders and ended up as crucial players in a dramatic rescue. The experience had changed them, leaving a lasting impression of the power of empathy, action, and the unforeseen impact one can have on the lives of others.